So this makeup is going to be my graduation makeup that I did for my graduation. So basically it's just soft glam. So let's start. We are starting with a primer. This one is the SPF BF5 by Milani. And then this one is the Hydro Grip by e.l.f. I put on the SPF one first because for my graduation it did start off a bit sunny, so I wanted to make sure I was a little bit protected. And then after you rub that one in, I didn't put enough on my hand. You want enough to cover your neck and your forehead. Now I'm putting the Hydro Grip on the back of my hand. You can also use the one by Milk. I think that's the one. Yeah. And I put that all over my face. This really helps to keep that makeup sticking onto your face. And if you don't set your face properly, your face will still be sticky. You can literally touch it and it will be sticky, but your makeup won't come off, which is fun. You just blend that in, and if you don't let it sit for a bit, then it might not look as good. Make sure that your foundation works well with it. And now I'm gonna do my eyebrows. I'm using the Fit Me 312 shade, and this is just a regular pressed powder. Just going in with my powder, putting that all across my eyebrows so it's nice and matte. Again, the Hydro Grip primer is going to make stuff sticky, so this just makes it easier to work with. And this is the Ultra Precise Brow Pencil by e.l.f. Yep. I think this color is like I don't know, something soft, probably, or neutral. But I brush out my eyebrows first so I can really see my eyebrow shape. Ooh, we're zoomed in. So I'm just drawing out a very distinct line over the top of my eyebrow, but I'm not really going into the very front of my eyebrow. And I'll just really establish a little line. Does that make sense? I don't think it does. But I'm going to repeat that on the same side. If your eyebrows aren't the same, you maybe shouldn't do that. Also, if you hear my fingers cracking, mind your business. Yeah. So I just do the same thing on both sides, and then I fill in sparse areas with the rest of the product, and then I blend it in a little bit, and then I brush my eyebrows back up. And then after I brush them up, we can see how sparse this side is looking. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add more hair looking strokes. You see how fast I'm going? I'm just trying to make it look nice and bushy again. My eyebrows were never bushy, but I'm just saying. Just adding back in the hairs. They don't have to look realistic per se. Just adding back in hair, and then the line for underneath my eyebrow, I really actually make sure that it's like touching the front part, the inner. I don't know what that's called. And then I make it connect to the other side, so it's like a little triangle at the end for the tail of my eyebrow. And then I fill it in some more. And then, yeah, you see how I'm making like little lines there? Yeah, you just keep repeating that. And if you just feel like it's sparse in some areas, just keep going. Keep going and going and going until you feel like it's done, okay? And also when you're doing the front hairs, brush or make the lines go upwards. And now I'm brushing it. And we're gone. I brushed it out so it's blended. And then I'm going back over with the same powder and the same brush to set the eyebrows in place. I know this is like a crazy tip, but this is the best. And I'm going in with this tan neutral, I think. You cannot see that shade whatsoever. But it's tan neutral, I think. And this is pretty close to my skin tone, as you can tell. Maybe a little bit more red or orange. I put that on the back of my hand. And then I'm just gonna grab a brush that's kind of angled, I guess. I meant to cut this part of the video out, but this is not already doing the voiceover. I'm not. So this is what the brush looks like. You see, kind of angled. And I'm just putting that on both sides of the brush. And now we're taking my pinky. You see how she's anchoring onto my cheek? Yeah, look at that. Look at the movement. That makes it a lot easier for better precision. And we're going right underneath the eyebrow. I know some people like to leave a little gap for blending, but I don't like that. I like to do it this way. Make it as close as possible so it's nice and crispy and delicious and fantabulistic. And I kind of blend down the concealer as I'm doing it. Oops. I like draw a line first, like we're like coloring in a little coloring book or something. And then look, flick, flick, flick to blend it downwards. You see that? You see that motion? I'm using very light pressure here. I'm not going too hard, and you don't really need to do that because you don't want a lot of product here. The goal is literally just to make the eyebrows look somewhat even. And I'm going to take the rest of that product on the back of my brush, and back of my hand, not the back of my brush. I'm going to blend the rest all over my eyelid so it's a nice and even tone. Get that everywhere. You see how it's like splotchy and patchy and whatnot? Don't leave it like that. Go ahead and grab another brush, okay? See, we're back with that same powder brush. I actually wiped it off on a little towel. You can have a paper towel beside you when you do your makeup. That makes it a lot easier so you can switch between brushes easily. There's also a thing called a color switch, but I don't really like those because they're not as disposable. I don't know. I don't like them. And I'm just going in with that brush and I'm blending it out. And it might have a little bit of powder inside of it, and that kind of helps mattify it. But you can always just use like a matte concealer, which I will be using later on, but not in this specific moment. I'm blending this concealer out all the way to the edges as well. Now I'm going in with this shade called Taupe, I think. And this is in the Moonstone palette by Profusion. And the eye shape I'm trying to do is kind of angled upwards. So I'm like starting at the very front of my eyebrow and then I'm going down and not trying to touch my actual brow bone. I'm just trying to make it look like my eye is popping out a little bit more. And I just keep going in with that. And then I'm going in with a bronzer looking shade. I don't know what color this was, but it was very orangey. Like, that's why I'm saying bronzer is shade, because I feel like bronzer is always orange. So I'm going in with that, and I'm putting that right on top because I felt like the taupe was a little too taupey. But this is literally the same way I did it on graduation day because I didn't know how I was going to do this makeup. So yeah, just going in with that taupe. I mean, no, the bronzer shade on top. And patting that in and blending her all the way out. Make it look nice and fantabulastic. See? That's what it looks. It looks like I've barely done a thing. But now I'm going to make it darker on those parts of my eye. This color is, I don't know, but it's a dark brown. And I'm making a line that's kind of angled, like, I don't know what angle that would be. Definitely not 90 degrees. But we're doing that angle right there, putting that really out in that outer corner of my eye because I'm, again, trying to make my eye look like it's popping out more because my eyes are kind of flat to my head a little bit. You can see from the side. My face don't have a lot of projection, so this will just help with that projection situation. And I just repeat the same thing on both sides. Sound like a broken record, but that's what you do. You repeat it on both sides, okay? And I'm also going to be putting that like right underneath my brow bone as well because we want that to pop out too. You see that? Look at how much the brow bone meat is showing out with that little technique. See? And you just keep doing that, and then you can switch the brush to a clean one, and then you blend it upwards to give a little cat eye shape. And now I'm using this angled brush with a very light color, like kind of like a bone color, and then I'm putting that right on my brow bone again to make things pop. Because the light color is gonna bring things outward and forward. The dark color sets them back more. And it's like basic contour. Just do that, and you're gonna look snatchdamus. Not anything that anybody says. I don't care though. I don't care. Now I'm using the matte concealer that we talked about earlier. I think this is the Camo 16 Hour. Don't know what that color is, but if you can read that bottle, then you can read it. And as you can see, it's about 2 shades lighter than me, or maybe 3. Girl, I don't know. I don't know how shades work, but I'm putting that next to my hand, next to the concealer already on my hand. And I'm just gonna take a different brush that you did not see, a rounded brush, and I'm gonna take that concealer and do a cut crease. And because I've already explained how to do the cut crease a million trillion times on this channel, I'm not gonna explain it right now. But you again need your pinky as an anchor. That'll make making the cut crease easier. But honestly, I don't always need to do that because I've figured out how to do a cut crease, kinda. And you can either like pat it like I'm doing it, or like on the other side, you can just like have a glow up concealer and just push it and make your line and then fill it in like that. But I'm not doing a full cut crease. See, a full cut crease would go all the way out to the outer corner, but I'm just doing half. And we're gonna go in with another angle brush that you can't see, and we're gonna blend that outwards. Not only am I blending this concealer, I'm kind of setting it because it is matte and I don't want it to dry like in this kind of funky shape. So I'm kind of blurring out the edges or diffusing the edges so it looks a little less harsh and jagged. And yeah, the next thing you want to do is go on with your bronzer shade that we used earlier, and you also cannot see that for real. And I'm using the angle brush to really hug my eyeball. We're putting that all around the outer concealer part, outer cut crease part. I don't know how to explain this, but yeah, you put that on the outer cut crease part, and I'm kind of like patting it in a way to like pack it into my eye. And now I'm going in with the bone color again that I use on my brow bone. I'm patting that all over my lighter part of my eye. And you could just leave this makeup just like this, but we have 2 more steps in the eyeshadow right after this. So put on your seatbelt and buckle up. It's really not that hard. I don't know why I said buckle up, but we're just darkening it again. We're using the same colors, same method, like bronzer shade and then the dark brown. Like, I'm not going to show you the exact things that I use because it's going to be different for everybody's skin tone. So if you're darker, just go with the darker palette. The Moonstone palette is pretty good. It covers a lot of bases. And this is the color I'm using. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a blue, a baby blue from the Kaleidoscope palette from Profusion, which I really liked because it's the same color as my graduation dress, which you'll probably be seeing in the thumbnail or something. I don't know where I'm gonna put that picture, but yeah, I put that in my inner corners and I kind of drag that color a little bit upwards. And I forgot to mention, but I also put a little bit of this slightly darker blue, not very baby blue, more closer to my tie-dye shirt blue color. And I just added that because I felt like it needed to be a little bit more vibrant. And now I'm going in with my sparkles. These are like a blue, sparkly, shimmery, glittery situation that was in the Kaleidoscope palette. It was the first sparkle that you see. And I'm putting that right on the edge of the cut crease. You could also go in with the a glitter glue or some glue liner, and then press in like some gems, because that would look cute too. It wouldn't really transfer either, but if you have hooded eyes or even slightly hooded eyes like me, I would definitely do this above where your lid naturally creases. And I'm going in with that same like tan neutral shade, and I'm covering up my little dark spots that you honestly cannot see on the camera, which is really funny to me. But I use this shade to cover dark spots simply because it's neutralizing them, because it's a red and the red cancels out the dark. Okay? And I'm putting that around my lips as well because I do have a double lip line, and I just make my lip look a little bit more symmetrical. And not symmetrical, but like pouty-ish. Do you guys know what I mean? I don't know what I mean, honestly. But I just make sure I have enough, because my concealer's kind of drying out in the back of my hand, so I rubbed it a bit more. And make sure you blend this out, because if you don't, you will look crazy. And I'm also putting that around my nose because she's a little dark right there too, which is okay. And then we're putting that under our eyes a little bit, but this doesn't really conceal anything under my eyes. Well, I guess it does, but it's just not. I like my under eyes to look bright, and this does not brighten, it just covers. And I'm blending it out with a fluffy eyeshadow brush. Now I'm going in with my foundation, the Hint of Butterscotch Hint Hint Skin Tint by Morphe. You gotta have the 2 on it, because if you don't have the 2, it's not the right thing. And I'm just putting that all over my face, and it's really like a serum type of foundation. You can build the coverage, but I feel like the more you build it, the more you look like the peanut butter baby. So I just keep it at one layer, and it's pretty thin on the skin, but you can still feel it. And now I'm just spreading out the foundation with this round brush. It don't really matter what brush you use, but I like to make it like a little bit more, I don't know, seamless and flat instead of like globs, because I feel like it's a lot easier to blend out when you spread out the foundation all over your face instead of dots or something. So I just do that to my entire face, and then I blend out some areas that had the most concealer on there, like that. I don't know. I was supposed to use a sponge at first, but I don't know. I just felt like grabbing this brush because this works too. And I just blend out the foundation. You see the motion. We're going back and forth. Pat, 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 pat. Going back and forth and pat. And you see how well the foundation is matching with my skin, even with the concealer underneath. That is what you want, okay? And if you're like me and your hands are like a different color than your face, do not match that color to your face. Don't match your foundation to your hand, I mean. I said that wrong. You match it to your neck or to like just an area that gets as much sun as your face does, you know? And now I'm going in with the beauty blender once I remembered what I was actually using. But again, pay attention to what skin tones look closest to your face. When you're in the store, do not buy a foundation that's I don't know, don't be trying the foundation out on your physical face. Don't do that. That's not safe. You can get infections. Now I'm using this Black Radiance palette, and I'm using that middle shade as you saw me pointing to. And I'm putting that all around. I'm putting that on my forehead, and then my cheekbone, and my temple area. And as you can tell, it don't really look that much different from my skin tone. I feel like at some point it used to look slightly darker. I don't know what happened. But yeah, I'm going in with that. Then after that, I'm using the darker contour shade. I don't know why I'm talking a country accent, but I use a darker contour shade. I'm putting that right behind the previous shade because I want my face to have some more dimension. For my nose, I used the angled brush again to blend it out. And I did also put some of that contour in the inner part of my nose. I definitely think you should be using a smaller brush for smaller areas. See, I was thinking about using that brush for that area. No, going with the sponge or a bigger brush that's like kind of stiff, but not too stiff. Like a dense brush. That's what I'm thinking. A dense brush. And you see how my cheekbone look like it's popping out more? Yeah, that's what you want. And this sponge was not wet. So I would definitely wet your sponge first, or at least have it damp. I got product in my eye. But yeah. Just blend that bad boy out. Blend that sucker out. Now we are going back in with our matte concealer from e.l.f. And for this, we're going to be doing our highlight because we just finished our contour. That's just the logical step. I'm going in with this same round brush and I'm just putting that product underneath my eyes, and I'm also dragging it to the sides of my nose, but not completely. And I'm also bringing that shade down further because I really want my mid face to be pretty bright. And then I'm going to go in with that angled brush and I'm going to blend out and diffuse the edges. I really like to do this because it makes your face look more airbrushed and it like takes a little bit of your product up. I'm just gonna keep doing that until it looks nice and soft and luscious and fabuloso. Fabuloso is literally a cleaning product. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I keep blending that, and I also blend it up into my outer corner of my eye and into my like under my nose area. And as you can see, that really just brightened my face up. And I'm also gonna take some more concealer, but I'm gonna be cleaning up the outer corners of my eye because that just makes your eyeshadow look a lot sharper when you just go in with the concealer. It just makes it look chef's kiss. And then again, we're going in with the same angled brush, but I'm using the side of the brush and then pushing the product into my face. Does that make sense, you guys? If it doesn't, let me know in the comments. I'll try to explain it better. But yeah, I'm using that and pushing it into the side of my face. And if you're not making faces doing your makeup, you're not doing it right. That's all I gotta say. Okay. You see, I blended it up towards my temple. And now I'm gonna add some more of that highlight shade on my chin and my forehead. And like I said before, the light colors are going to make these areas of your face pop. And I don't necessarily want my forehead to pop, but I just want it to look more cohesive because my face looks more dimensional now. Instead of just having contour, I added in the highlight to make it look all together. And to blend out the edges of my concealer, I am like blending it down. But those are the two blushes I'm going to use. They're actually just lip tints from Profusion. The first one I'm using is the brighter shade. I don't know what it's called. The shade names have rubbed off, but it's a more intense pink, as you can tell. And this one is more mauve, and I'm just putting that closer to the front of my cheek or closer to my mid face. And I'm kind of blending it into the more bright shade. And I'm going to blend it in with the beauty blender. This looks so much better when the beauty blender is wet, but I'm directly putting this blush like right underneath my eye. The reason I do this is so that if I still have any dark circles peeking through, even with the color correction and the highlighting, then the blush is gonna just like really take all of the darkness away, okay? Because it's the same concept of using a reddish peach shade to color correct a dark spot. but we're using pink instead. And you could also do this method with like a setting powder, a pinky looking setting powder that just brightens up the face a little bit more. I'm also using the butt of the beauty blender to really get up in there and get, not necessarily get the nooks and crannies, but just to really get an overall blend. Now I'm using this Black Radiance banana powder. Um, I'm using this puff sponge thing, and then I'm gonna be setting my face in the areas where I put that highlighting concealer at. And I'm not gonna be baking because I do have dry skin. I'm not gonna leave this on for too long. I'm just trying to set all of those wet places on my face into place. Yeah. And I'm putting that all over my nose, and I'm not picking up more powder, mind you. I'm just using the rest of the powder over the other areas of my face that I wanted to lighten up. I look so crazy while doing this, but I'm putting that over top of all those areas. You don't want it to be all over your face. I really would recommend to just focus that on your mid face. And I'm using this fan looking brush. It's very dense, and I'm gonna use this shade that was in Kaleidoscope, and it's a very orange bronzer. So I'm just gonna use that all over the edges or perimeter of my face. Like, the only reason I'm using this is because it just brings the color back into your face after adding like a banana banana uh banana type powder or like any light powder. I'm also going over the areas with the banana powder with the bronzer shade because it doesn't make it darker, it just makes it look, again, more cohesive. That's the word that I really love to use in this tutorial, apparently, but it just makes it look better because you can see that under my eyes is still bright, but it's not like screaming at you. And I'm actually going in with more, but right on top of my blush, because I don't know why, but this intensifies the blush. Like, look at that. It just looks way more blushing. And I actually might have not used blush here. Like, hold on. I think I used a pink eyeshadow. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. I used a pink and an orange eyeshadow to make it look more clownified. And I'm telling you, this will look good throughout the day, okay? And now I'm going back in with that angled brush, and I'm picking up some of that bronzer shade that I use around the perimeter of my face, and I'm just gonna put that right under my eyes. And again, if you're not making an ugly face doing this, you're not doing it right. And I'm also putting that on the ends of my nose just to sharpen up my contour again. I don't really like to make my nose look extra skinny when I contour it. I just kind of try to bring dimension back into my face. And I'm also like kind of give myself like a button nose shape by cutting it like in the mid part of the tip of my nose. I don't know. I'm going in with the eyeshadow. It's a bright one. I think it's called Witty. It's either in the Profusion and either in the Kaleidoscope palette or the Moonstone palette. And I'm again just going over top of all of the places that I've already highlighted just to set them and also just make it a little bit brighter. This is the Moon Ritual setting spray. Now this one has a really heavy fragrance and I don't exactly like that, but it does lock the face in. And as you can see, it just like was dripping a little bit, which isn't cute, but that's only because it's like the last of his life. I really only have like drops left in this, so it just kind of sprays out a little bit weird. But if you get a newer one, it's gonna be more of a mist than a really intense spray. I'm just fanning my face to really make sure that everything is nice and dry. I did have a physical fan that I used to use. You should invest in one of those because that makes it a lot easier. And I'm just using an eyeshadow that was in the Kaleidoscope palette. I think it was like, I don't know what it was called, but it looks more white in the pan, but it's not actually white. It's like spangle or something. And I'm going to use this Juvia's Place highlighter in this blush palette. I don't remember which one this is. I think it's the 2 blush palette, but I'm putting that right on my cheekbones, right where the light catches my face. And I'm gonna just blend that out more because you can kind of see a line, and I don't want there to be any harsh lines. I'm going in with this old eyelash curler. I'm curling the mess on my eyelashes. You see, I'm pumping the curler like into my eye. I don't really need to do this though. This is a Big Papa Wet n Wild mascara. This is not waterproof. I don't like waterproof mascara, and I didn't want to use it for my graduation simply because my graduation was literally at 7 p.m. and I was gonna get home at 10. So I would rather have an easy time taking off my makeup, okay? So I'm literally just going in with mascara. I'm not doing anything special per se. I'm just covering my eyelashes, maybe doing a little wiggle and jiggle here and there, but not doing anything fancy. The original look did have false lashes, but I didn't want to do that for the tutorial because I did not feel like gluing eyelashes on. But if you guys want a tutorial just for false lashes, let me know, because I have noticed some people don't know how to like put them on their eye correctly. I thought I was bad at it. I'm apparently not. That sounded like shade. That was not shade. I'm sorry. But yeah, like I don't know how to explain it, but like some people put the eyelash on, then it kind of looks like a sheet, but I can show you how to do it in a way that makes your eyes look lifted and open. If you are interested in that, please let me know in the comments down below. If you get this far, comment a pink heart, or no, comment a blue heart and a pink heart, because that's what's on my head right now. Okay? I'm also doing my lower mascara. I really like to focus on this because I like my lower lashes to look crazy long, and they're gonna look longer if you use the Wet n Wild lengthening mascara, waterproof. Okay, and now I'm going in with the, I don't know what eyeliner this is. I think this is a NYX eyeliner, and I'm just starting off with a line on my outer corner, and then I'm making a little triangle. Now I'm doing my inner corner. You can't see any of it, but I did my inner corner. And now I'm using the same lace shade that I use for the darkest part of my eyeshadow on my lips. Yeah, I'm using that for my lip liner first, just to like find or figure out where my lips actually are. And I just make it look very nice and ombre. Okay, you see? Now the next step is gonna be not a lip liner, more of the lace shade apparently. I thought we were going in with lip liner, but you're gonna keep doing that until it looks nice and dark. Or you can just get a dark brown pencil. I'm gonna be grabbing like a dark mauve shade and a pink neutral. Yeah. So that's the dark mauve, and I'm putting that right on top of the eyeshadow. And it's like barely a difference, but it's enough to make it look nice and put together. And then I'm going in with the lighter shade in the middle of my lips just to make it an ombre. And I'm also kind of blending it together by smacking my lips and using my finger to get all up in there. And yeah, that's basically it. All you need to do now is to put on your lip gloss or not. I sometimes like to save putting on my lip gloss up until I'm about to go onto the stage, because that'll keep your lip product on your lips for longer. The matte, it'll stay as long as you don't eat or drink. Yeah, this is a lip gloss I'm using. It's from LA Girls, or is that what it's called? I think it's called that. But I'm putting that all over the lips. And yeah, that's about it. So I hope you guys had a good day, and I hope you like this little tutorial. I'm trying to make my tutorials shorter. I'm trying my best so that you can like get the most information out of them, but I also tend to ramble, so I'm sorry about that. Bye. yeah, that's the complete look. Um, have you noticed that my hair is kind of balding? Isn't that funny? It's not funny, but that's just a thing that's happening right now.